Hey, what's going on, everybody? Monday, January 27th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning into Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Donald Trump, Week 1 recap. Ho, Nelly. Is it difficult to keep up with the amount of winning that has been going on? Whether it's Pete Hegseth getting confirmed, a little bit of shakeup at the Department of Justice, at the Department of Defense, excuse me. Whether it is Donald Trump starting a round of golf, starting a trade war, and then winning it by the back nine, or whether it is J.D. Vance and Tom Homan going on the Sunday shows and giving these people the beating that they so very badly deserve. The winning does not stop as deportations continue to ramp up of violent criminals. Also, at the end of the show today, we are going to talk about Selena Gomez. We're going to talk about Selena Gomez. Why are we going to talk about Selena Gomez? Well, because she's my entire Twitter feed right now. If you're on X at all right now, all you're seeing is Selena Gomez's face, probably because she's very, 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 very sad. Selena Gomez is very, very, very sad. But why is Selena Gomez sad? Well, it turns out she may have to clean her own house. And she doesn't like that very much. She doesn't like that at all. So we're going to get into all that juicy stuff today, guys. Before we get started, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We're rocking. We are rolling today. Let's get this live chat up on the screen. Where the hell is it? Boom. What's happening, everyone? Well, yeah, let's pull this over. Let's get this where it's supposed to be. Hello, hello, hello. Very good stuff. Cap Locks doesn't know who Selena Gomez is. Selena Gomez was a pop star. I think she was a Disney chick. And then she grew up, and now everyone pretends that she's, something important. Hello, everybody. Rocking and rolling live. Saying hello to everybody in the chat. We're going to have so much fun today. I've got so much fun stuff to go over. It's been quite the weekend. And it was really capped off by what happened on the Sunday shows. Kevin, you badass SOB. You are awesome. Spitting truths. Yeah, you got that right. You got that right. Week 2 of Donald Trump begins. Oh, before we get into the Week 1 recap, you know what? We'll do the Week 1 recap first before we get into all that is coming this week, because there is going to be a lot more. A lot more. So, what happened? What happened over the weekend? Well, the Sunday shows did the bidding of the Democratic Party, as they always seem to do. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it turns out that the mainstream media decided, as it usually does, that it's going to have a little bit of one-sided coverage when it comes to two different presidents doing the exact same thing. What do I mean by that? Well, it turns out Donald Trump's January 6th pardons across all of the networks during their Sunday morning hour gave the Donald Trump pardons 46 minutes of coverage. The Biden family pardons, which Joe Biden did last week, some of you may have forgotten because it moves so quickly, that received a total of 3 minutes worth of coverage. They don't even hide it anymore. And they wonder why people are tuning out. They wonder why when Norah O'Donnell left CBS Evening News, I had to report it to you because nobody else gave a crap. Nobody cared whatsoever. Well, a new study has revealed that the flagship newscasts on ABC, CBS, and NBC dedicated 46 minutes to the Donald Trump pardons on January 6th, yet little attention was given to the fact that Joe Biden pardoned all of his family members. An analysis from the Media Research Center showed that the morning and evening broadcasts on ABC News, CBS News, NBC News from Inauguration Day were heavily involved with the fact that Donald Trump pardoned the January 6ers and gave 3 minutes and 32 seconds to the fact that Joe Biden preemptively pardoned family members that, according to him, have not committed any crimes. Now, the only people who need preemptive pardons are those who haven't committed any crimes. ABC's Good Morning America and World News Tonight dedicated 15 minutes and 30 seconds to the Trump pardons while spending 34 seconds on the Joe Biden pardons. Wow. 34 seconds. I guess we should be happy that CBS Morning and CBS Evening News covered the Trump pardons for 16 and a half minutes. And thankfully, guys, you dedicated 64 total seconds to Joe Biden preemptively pardoning his family. It's hard to believe that nobody watches you anymore. I said this the other day about an outlet here on Long Island called Newsday. Newsday used to be a newspaper here. Now it's a Sudoku puzzle wrapped up in evening sports. They just don't seem to get it. They don't. Now, are they so inside? Are they so insulated in their bubbles that they don't understand that it turns out more than half of the country thinks they're a joke? Do I believe that they really don't get that, or do I think that they just don't care? Well, in a little bit, we're going to talk about a bunch of other outlets that I don't really care about. But why do I bring this up? Why do I bring this up? I bring it up because the world is changing. The world is changing every day for the better, I would say. A lot of that has to do with Donald Trump. A lot of that has to do with the fact that things are being shaken up in Washington, D.C., in a place that they need to be shaken up very badly. But I say that because we are now on the upswing of the bad times, okay? The old fourth turning sort of mantra that good times make weak men and weak men make bad times. We were in the bad times for quite a long time. But bad times make strong men. And right now we are on the verge. We are on the upswing. We are on the hockey stick-like trajectory of those sorts of good times. And it's great to see. It's great to see that some people are beginning to get on board. Jeanette, how are you? Marissa, how are you? Thank you so much for sharing this out. Guys, make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Share it out, share it out, share it out. So, considering nobody pays attention to these networks anymore, many people with very large names, household names, names you may have watched in the past, names you have heard of, have begun branching out and doing their own thing. Now, did they do this because they felt pressure from their networks not to cover the stories that they found important? Possibly. Did they branch out because if you're as big as somebody like Piers Morgan or Megyn Kelly or Dr. Phil, you don't really need the sort of apparatus that a network provides you? Entirely possible. But now that somebody like Dr. Phil is out, he has left the bubble that is network television, he can do things like this. Over the weekend, Dr. Phil went on what's called a ride-along. If you've never been on a ride-along, you absolutely should call a police friend of yours and see if you can go on a ride-along. They are so much fun to see what cops actually do all day long. Because most people don't know. Well, Dr. Phil went on a ride-along with Tom Homan and the people of ICE as they were doing raids in the city of Chicago. Before that, Dr. Phil did a quick interview with him to get a feel for what he was going to experience while he was on this ride-along. Here's what that looked like.
So forget the false narrative of sweeping neighborhoods looking for people different color than us. Forget that hogwash and look at what we actually did. We're proving it to them. How can you argue with the system we've set up?
Well, straight up, are you going into schools and arresting children at schools?
No.
Is anything like that happening?
No, sir.
Are you going into businesses and sweeping through there and taking anybody with a tan and seeing where they're from?
We go into businesses for a criminal enforcement operation, but again, sweeps don't occur anywhere.
The sweeps are not occurring. You're just not going in like seining for fish in a pond and just picking up. You're going targeted. If a criminal is working in a business and you have to pick them up there, you're going in for that target.
Absolutely.
And what's happening to me, it seems that these politicians are creating what they fear the most, and that is forcing ICE agents into the community where they pick up the target and wind up picking up collaterals that may be around them, as opposed to going to the jail where they just get the target and leave.
That's the game they want to play, and so, game on. We're going to do it. I mean, it's all about public safety. We're going to take that public safety threat off the street by any means necessary. If we can't get in the jail, then we'll go in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and Chris, look, we've got two very high-risk apprehensions that are going down within minutes. I can tell you that these are bad actors that are doing things that are immediate, instant danger to anyone around them. I'm not going to say what they are right now, because even describing it could be tipping off who we're talking about. And if they happen to be watching this, or somebody they know is watching this, could pick up the phone and call them and put agents' lives in more danger than they already are.
That's right.
That's why we're being very careful. That's why we're asking all of you in the control room to process these videos and blur the faces of the brave men and women that are doing what they're doing, because we don't want them harassed and targeted after the fact. And that has and does happen. So we're being very careful to protect everybody out there. But just know, listen, whether you're seeing this on Merit TV or Merit or all of our different social platforms, this narrative that they're out sweeping and picking up people indiscriminately is absolutely untrue. Absolutely untrue. These are a lot of investigation happening. They're targeting individuals that have criminal histories and are a danger to the community, and they're making communities safer when they take them off the street, and God bless them for doing so. That's all I can tell you, and we're going to be bringing you more from Chicago as we go along, and I'll let you get back to what you're doing.
See, that's Dr. Phil's Merit TV. Now, if I'm being honest with you, I don't know why Dr. Phil bought a linear network in the age of social media and in the age of streaming, but I'm sure he had his reasons. He's a gigantic human. I'm sure he did whatever he had to do. But who are the people that they are scooping up in places like Chicago? Who are those people? Are they petty thieves? Are they, as AOC described, someone who is stealing because they can't afford to eat? Are they a migrant from a war-torn area fleeing persecution? No. It turns out they're none of those things. It turns out they're pedophiles from Thailand.
What's your name?
Seda?
Seda what? You have a first and last name.
Sam?
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You've been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
But I've been in the system before.
B&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charged for it.
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not talking about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen,
Yes.
but you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children, and he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with.
Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh.
Let's take him in and process and lock him up.
Got it, sir.
All right. You get a transport vehicle?
Working on it. Okay.
So I thank somebody I thank a person like Dr. Phil, somebody who has the resources to go out and film this stuff so that people can see it. A couple of things here I want to make sure I point out. If someone asks you the question, have you been charged with sex crimes against minors? And your response is, not really? What the hell does that mean? It's either no or every other answer. No, not really. You know, well, one can never really know. You know, one can never, little of this, little of that. You maybe had a little too much to drink. People do that with DWIs all the time. You know, and I get it. I'm not saying you can drink and drive. Don't do that. Get an Uber, unless you're an Eagles fan. We'll get to that later. You can have 2 and you're under the limit, but you have 3. You're not drunk, but you're over the limit. Were you drunk driving? Not really. Okay. When it comes to sex crimes with minors, there's no not really. There's no meh. That's who they're picking up. But if you watch the mainstream media, that's not what you would believe. You would think that they're walking in to your local deli and scooping up the guy in the back making your egg sandwich, which is simply not happening. Many people say it should. I say we get the dangerous ones out first. We get the most dangerous ones out first. And here's what this has led to. You see, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Places like CNN have perpetuated the lie over and over and over and over and over again that Donald Trump is just going to start scooping people up at schools who have done nothing wrong. They're going to come and they're going to take your teenager away. Oh, no. And then they're shocked when immigrant communities sit in fear. You're the ones who made them afraid. If you had just reported the truth on what Donald Trump and Tom Homan were actually going to do, you wouldn't get stories like this.
ICE says that they are focusing on individuals who are public safety threats or national security threats, individuals with criminal backgrounds. We don't know anything about this man that was arrested yesterday here in the Chicago area, but we have asked ICE. Now let's step back to talk about what this has created in the Chicago area within the migrant and immigrant community. I can tell you that there is extreme panic from talking to organization leaders and contacts and sources here. They tell me that there is a sense of panic. And one of the examples that they used is an anecdote of a family from Venezuela, a migrant family who arrived here about 2 years ago. They have 2 young girls, elementary school aged, and they say that they have not left their homes since Trump took office, since he was inaugurated last week. So this is 2 elementary age girls who have not gone to school. Their parents have not gone to work. They are cooped up in their apartment. This organization learned about them, and so they have been dropping off groceries. And this organization tells me that the number of individuals who now need groceries because they're cooped up in their homes has grown. And so those are the types of stories that we're starting to hear about in the Chicago area as this focus on Chicago clamps down. So, John, we're going to continue monitoring the situation. I'm talking to a lot of contacts and sources to try to learn more about the arrests that happened here in Chicago yesterday, and also asking ICE about more information regarding these arrests.
It's
John?
Great to have you there pushing for answers to this, Rosa Flores in Chicago. Thank you.
So CNN creates a narrative that Donald Trump is going to go scooping up kids, and then they're shocked that people are afraid people are going to take their children. Look, I want to be clear. I want to be very clear. I do not blame people for being afraid of this, okay? I don't blame them for that. I blame the people who lied to them. I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm not going to use any names. I know 2 people, a couple, a lesbian couple, who adopted kids from foster care. One of the greatest things I think human beings can do. One of the greatest things ever. Take kids who are not yours out of the foster care system, bring them into your home, and raise them as your own children. I was told a number of weeks ago by somebody who knows them that they were afraid that Donald Trump was going to take their children away from them because they're a gay couple. And all I thought to myself was, wow, someone told you that. Someone made you believe that there is any possibility that something like that's going to happen. So if that's what you were told, and if that's what you're seeing on television, it does not shock me that you would be afraid of something like that. The problem is that in no universe, in no reality, is that ever going to happen. And I actually felt bad for them. I felt bad for them that somebody, I don't know if it was in the media, somebody in their families, a friend, people on Facebook, someone they cared about enough to trust, lied to them and told them this was going to happen. If people just told the truth, it would solve so many of the problems. If people were just honest, instead of spinning their own narrative and doing their woe is me mantra about how hard it is to be a journalist in today's world. If people were just honest, we wouldn't have anything to worry about. And we're starting to see this honesty pop up with this new administration. Now, many people watching this, if there's anyone of the left hearing this, you're going to be shocked by this. But I want to be clear, as somebody who's dealt with politicians virtually my entire life, there are very few either administration or administration officials who are as honest and as transparent as this administration. And when the media sits down with these people, like Tom Homan, like J.D. Vance, and actually asks them questions, they get direct answers. And they almost don't know how to process it. They almost don't know how to handle it because they're used to political jargon. They're used to crappy slogans that mean absolutely nothing coming from useless people who have never done a proper day's work in their lives. But now they're starting to get real answers. And we're going to get to that in 1 minute. Before we do that, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Guys, make sure you are hitting that thumbs up button wherever it is you may be watching from. If you're watching on Facebook, do me a favor. Hit that @ button and tag your followers in the comments section so that more people can see it. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor. Hit the like button and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time we go live every day, 1 p.m. Most importantly, if you're watching anywhere else, make sure you're watching on Rumble, rumble.com/LFATV, rumble.com/LoudMajorityUS. We got pages everywhere. We're rocking. We are rolling. 1,000 people watching on the big show right now. Let's pop that live chat up onto the screen to say hello to everybody before we get to the most transparent and forthcoming administration I have ever seen. Sagan, what's happening? Marissa, thank you for retweeting it. As always, TD, what's happening? Also, real quick, for my Pennsylvania crowd out there, I may be in your neck of the woods very soon. Stay tuned for that. Caps, how are we doing? John Yalta, how are you? Green Eyes is watching in Alaska. Green Eyes, what time is it in Alaska? Go back to bed. It's got to be like 6 a.m. Damn. It's got to be like 6 a.m. over there. Thank you so much for tuning in, obviously. Obviously, I'm being silly here. So, the most transparent administration in American history. Here was Tom Homan sitting down with Martha Raddatz of ABC, and when she talks to him about how long will these deportations continue? What will be the plan of action here? Watch her very, very, very confused when Tom Homan gives her a very direct and straightforward answer.
Flights going south, as you said, we have never seen that before. Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes, but you can see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
When you talk about the aperture opening, the estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge.
Removed. Shouldn't be hard. This is by far the most transparent administration we have ever seen. We've ever seen. They tell you exactly what they're going to do, and then they do it. Yet the media seem incredibly bemused by this. They're very confused. And of course, when we look to those on television who are the most confused, who are the most befuddled, and come up with one of the worst possible take on everything, we have to look to the illustrious, the world famous, the gorgeous, the dumbasses on The View. Here's Sonny Hostin saying that actually, I don't know if you guys know this or not. But did you know that the majority of illegal immigrants in America are from Europe?
You know, to answer your question, which is this the immigration fix that this country wanted? Mm-hmm. I think absolutely there are certain people that wanted to see this kind of pain and destruction for a certain group or type of immigrant. Because if you look at the numbers, yes, the number of immigrants that come from Mexico or of Mexican-born are the largest. But the next largest are Asians. 28% of them come. I don't think they walk across the southern border. I think they come by plane. The next largest are Europeans. I don't think they walk either. I'm just saying immigrants, right?
Oh, not undocumented, though.
A lot of them are undocumented, actually.
But that's not the stat for being
but a lot of them
come by plane and then overstay their visas.
They overstay their visas. They overstay their visas, so they're undocumented. The Europeans that come here that overstay their visas are undocumented, but they don't come across the southern border. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a very clear message as to what this president wants the look of a criminal migrant to look like, what an undocumented migrant. And I think that's racist. Let me also say that, in my view, he has circumvented established law by weaponizing the U.S. military.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Generally, before being
Hold on. We're going to get her answer in a second. I'm going to leave her up there. Weaponizing the military. If you're not weaponizing the military, what the hell is the point of the military?
Deported, you have an asylum case pending in front of a court, and you must appear in front of that judge. Right now, there are 3 million asylum cases and 900 judges. That is why the bipartisan bill that was going to be passed addressed that particular issue. Instead of dealing with it legally in that way, and I'm not saying he's doing it illegally, what he did was declared a national emergency that qualifies as a foreign invasion. And on the U.S.-Mexico border, not any other border. And that cleared the way for the Department of Defense to deploy the military at a 60% increase. I just think that our military members, many of them did not join the military to do that job. And let me say just finally that they are also racially profiling in doing this.
All right, so a couple things here. Let's break down Sonny Hostin's dumbass statement. I'm gonna lean back when I do this because I want to enjoy this. Donald Trump declares a national emergency on the border, and Sonny Hostin is upset that he only did it on the U.S.-Mexico border. Well, should he have done it on the U.S.-French border? Should he have done it on the U.S.-Australian border? Should he have done it on the U.S.-Pakistani border? We only have 2 borders, okay? Dumbass. That's number one. Number 2, politicizing weaponizing the military. What is the point of a military that isn't weaponized? Now, Sonny Hostin would have you believe that the point of a military is to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, so that pansexual leprechauns can, I don't know, take target practice with with a 30 cal machine gun. That's what she would have you believe the purpose of the military is. No, the military is to protect the homeland. That's the point of the military, Sonny Hostin. If you want, Sonny Hostin, we could redirect the military to arrest people that commit Medicaid fraud, like allegedly, like your husband. Got to make sure I throw that in there for the lawyers. You know, the thing Sonny Hostin used to be before she became an asshole. What is the point of the military unless it's weaponized? See, we are so lucky. We are so lucky to live in the time that we live in. Okay, guys? Because if we lived 200, 300, 400 years ago and we had like a question about like our crops or how to farm correctly or how to I don't know, build a house or whatever, you had to go into town and you had to ask somebody and you had to trust that that person was smart enough to give you the correct information. Now, all we have to do is hear them talk. If people use terms like marginalization, weaponization, mis or disinformation, if they use the word diversity in every single sentence, you know that that person is a dumbass and you don't have to listen to anything else they have to say. You know that they're utterly useless because those words mean nothing. They mean almost nothing. They're scary words. Ooh, the military has been weaponized, as opposed to what? Castrated? Neutered? Eunuched? Balls cut off of them? A cash cow for the military-industrial complex? To buy F-35s that don't work? What is the point of the military? But to protect the homeland. Now, Sonny Hostin is obviously very upset because very soon there's going to be much less illegal immigration in this country, and she's going to have to pay the woman who cleans her apartment a lot more money, and that's really going to be detrimental to her bottom line, particularly when her husband goes to jail for the country's largest Medicaid and Medicaid fraud scheme, allegedly. Got to make sure I throw that in there. But times are a-changing. Times are a-changing, and I'm loving every second of it. Before we get to more of the highlights of this weekend, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA TV related. Guys, make sure you check out the LFA TV store. And while you're there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at LFA TV. That's the best way to keep this network moving and grooving. Everything you guys need to know. Jacked up, giddy up, let's go. Before we get into the times are a-changing portion of the show, just some programming notes. Make sure you guys are aware. We've got huge confirmation battles Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to be bringing them to you all live here on LFA TV. Sean Farrick's show, Jeremy Harrell's show, my show. I have no doubt it will go into Will Johnson's show. Hell, this thing might go all night long because we've got RFK, we've got Tulsi Gabbard, and we've got Kesh Patel. So, believe you me, there's going to be a fight on our hands. Much the same way there were theatrics and fireworks during the Pete Hegseth hearing from people like Chief Hiawatha and Senator Whitehouse and Senator I definitely didn't go to Vietnam but pretended I did. Blumenthal from Connecticut, do better. Please. It's going to be a fun week for sure, so make sure you guys keep it locked in here. We're going to be running that stuff all the live long day over. Yeah. Make sure you guys keep that locked in. So as I said, things are a-changing. And one place they changed over the weekend was at the Pentagon with the nomination of Pete Hegseth. By the way, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, you're going to get primaried. Murkowski will probably survive a primary. Lisa Collins maybe will not. I'm sure she'll stutter her way through that. Murkowski will only survive it because of ranked choice voting. Also, Mitch McConnell voted against him, probably because Pete Hegseth would not promise to bomb every third world country on the planet. And it turns out some people are very, very upset by that.
Well, look, I think Pete is a disruptor, and a lot of people don't like that disruption, but Margaret, that disruption is incredibly necessary. If you think about all of those bipartisan massive votes, we have to ask ourselves, what did they get us? They got us a country where we fought many wars over the last 40 years, but haven't won a war about as long as I've been alive. They've got us a military with a major recruitment crisis, a procurement crisis that's totally dysfunctional, where we buy airplanes for billions and billions of dollars, terrible cost overruns, the delivery dates are always delayed. So we need a big change. Now, admittedly, there are people who don't like that big change, but it is necessary, and it's explicitly what Donald J. Trump ran on, and I think part of the reason why the American people elected him their 47th president.
Once again, pretty straightforward answer from J.D. Vance on Face the Nation. But that wasn't the only part about the change. And we on this show, we've discussed numerous times about the fact that times are changing. Times are changing not only in D.C. as a whole, but in the institutions that is in Washington, D.C. And I'm talking about the legacy conservative media ecosphere. What do I mean by that? Well, there are right-leaning, we shall say, news outlets in D.C., most notably places like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post and the National Review. These things have been around for a very, very long time. And traditionally, they have been the conservative outlets out there. However, those institutions, like many of the other ones we have here on the right, have been overrun by the neocons, have been overrun by the McConnell, Lindsey Graham warmongers of the past. So as we come up on the nomination of someone like a Tulsi Gabbard, it turns out many of these outlets do not like her.
Both the Wall Street Journal and the National Review, conservative publications, as you know, have been critical of Tulsi Gabbard. The Review called her an atrocious nominee who deserves to be defeated. They compared her defense of Edward Snowden, the fugitive who stole U.S. secrets, to an attorney general who thinks the mob gets a bad rap. Her refusal to accept U.S. intelligence findings that Assad gassed his own people, they said, was like a nominee for OMB director not being able to count. Does any of this give you pause putting her in charge of the U.S. intelligence community? Yes or no?
No, Margaret, look, these are publications that attacked Donald J. Trump obsessively, but those publications don't determine who the president is, the
and
American
ultimately
people
supported
do.
him.
And Donald J. Trump is the person who determines who his cabinet is, not these publications that I think, frankly, have lost relevance.
Lost relevancy. Exactly. And this is going to be our biggest fight over the course of the next several years. It is going to be letting some of these legacy outlets know that, look, guys, you may have had your day in the sun. You may have. There may have been a time where National Review was like a really big deal. But nobody cares anymore, bro. Nobody cares. So when Margaret Brennan sits there and says, well, there are many Republicans out there who don't like Tulsi Gabbard, like the Rupert Murdoch-owned Wall Street Journal and the National Review that lied to get us into Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah, bro. I'm sure they don't like her. Because it's time for America to scale down its desire to bomb the shit out of every country on the planet so that a handful of corporations can make billions and billions of dollars over the course of 20 years. It is time to stop sending people my age into third world shitholes like Yemen, yeah, I said it, to die. Do you know the best way for Americans not to die in Syria? Not to have them there. It turns out people have been trying to fix the Middle East for quite some time. They've been trying to fix the Middle East since Muhammad took his first child bride. Aisha. She was 7, by the way. Since that, way back then, they've been trying to fix it. Turns out, nobody can do it. So, why don't we let them destroy themselves? I don't care. And it turns out many people who are going to be in the intelligence and defense industries right now under the Trump administration are also people who do not care about America being the police of the world. It's time for these people to understand that just because this is the way things have been does not mean it is the way they must always be. J.D. Vance had a great line that just because America has had a certain immigration policy for 240 years does not mean we must continue to do it. Just doesn't mean that we must continue to do it. Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling here. Also, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this program and everything we've got going on over here. We've got so much stuff happening, particularly if you're part of the local audience and you're looking to get involved in local politics. We're going to have so much happening over the course of the next month or so, next month, 2 months. Make sure if you guys want to get involved, we really do appreciate it over here. So let's get to another fact. Fact. America is not a country of immigrants. It isn't. It just simply isn't. Maybe there was a time that it was. And there was also a time that we didn't have electricity. And it turns out sometimes things change. Sometimes things change. And maybe people ought to get with the times. Perhaps they ought to get with the times. It's just something to think about. See, that is the globalist mindset right there. America's a country of immigrants. We were founded by immigrants. Therefore, we should take in the totality of the world's poor, even if they may or may not be terrorists. Here with J.D. Vance smacking down Margaret Brennan on that nonsense.
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand by
concern
it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These
It's
people are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he
Yeah.
wasn't. I
No.
don't want my children to
Mm-hmm.
share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really
But-
care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
Oh, you hear that? You hear that, guys? So the Afghani we welcomed into the country became radicalized when he got here. So you see, it's really our fault. It's our fault. You know, you stop Afghanis from being radicalized in America, you stop bringing them here. But Kevin, what is the proper number of Afghan refugees we should take in? Well, you think about one over here and then one over here. What would be the proper number of Afghan refugees to take? Zero. You see, because, Sonny Hostin, it is not about what a person looks like. It is about culture. And I am sick and tired of watching the American culture and the American way of life be denigrated by importing people from the 9th century. From the 9th century. Stop importing people who come from a country where, according to Pew Research data, 99% believe that Sharia should be the law of the land. You don't get to come here. If you go to the store, if you're a refugee, if you're a migrant, if you're an immigrant, use the word asylum seeker, whatever it may be. If you are one of those people and you go to the store and you see a woman driving alone without a man, you need to go the fuck home. If that bothers you, if you're like, why isn't that woman being escorted by some man, you need to go back to Kabul or Baghdad or Aleppo. Seems pretty straightforward to me, but there are some people who are very upset about this. They're very upset. See, guys, you gotta understand, okay? You gotta understand, everybody. There are people out there. There are people out there who are just so much better than you and me. They're so much better because, they used to sleep with Justin Bieber. People like Selena Gomez who just can't handle it, so she's got to go on her TikTok and cry.
I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
What a shitty actress. What a terrible actress. First off, you'd think somebody would have taught her how to cry by now. But you see, Selena, she's just a better person. She's just a better person than me. She's so much better because, without all these illegals, who's going to clean her McMansion? Who's going to clean her house in Aspen and get all those windows? Oh, no. Oh, no. Hey, Selena, you're more than welcome to take in as many roving bands of illegal immigrant sex offenders as you want. Take in as many as you want. Let me know how that works out for you, international star and relatively still hot person, Selena Gomez. Let me know how that goes. Because I'm sure that the gates around the house you live in would definitely keep those people out. That pedophile from Thailand that we showed you earlier, Selena Gomez is never going to run into that guy. And that's why people like Tom Homan don't really give a shit.
You've had a chance to see a video that has been going viral over the past hour or so. We're still working to clear it and show it. In fact, the Hollywood celebrity who posted it has now deleted it, I think because probably she faced a lot of backlash for it, noting even the New York Times and Fox News polls show that a majority of American respondents are in favor of deportations of criminals and gang members. She posted a video sobbing. She was crying in it. She said, "All my people are getting attacked," with the picture of a Mexican flag. Again, she has now taken that down. But what do you say to those who are out there saying that these are everyday people, these are families that are being attacked and dragged out of their homes? How do you respond to that?
I don't think we arrested any families. We've arrested public safety threats and national security threats, bottom line. And look, President Trump won the election on this one issue, securing our border and saving lives. What happened on our southern border last 4 years is the biggest national security threat this country's seen, at least in my lifetime, because we got over 2 million known gotaways. We got a 600% increase in sex trafficking. We got a record number of terrorists crossing the border on the terrorist watch list. We have 250,000 Americans die from fentanyl coming across the open border. We're going to do this job, and we're going to enforce the laws of this country. If they don't like it, then go to Congress and change the law. We're going to do this operational apology. We're going to make our community safer. We're going to save. Once we lock that border on continuous operation, you're going to see fentanyl deaths decrease, illegal alien crime decrease, sex trafficking decrease. It's just all for the good of this nation, and we're going to keep going. No apologies. We're moving forward.
See, the problem is with somebody like Selena Gomez is that she's been so famous for so long that no one has ever told her no before. No one has ever told her no. She's gotten whatever she wanted from whomever she wanted it from. Not anymore, sweetie pie. Also, your people, please, Selena Gomez, let me know what you have in common with the people living in slums in Tijuana. You ever been to Tijuana? You want to talk about a culture shock? Tijuana might be the shittiest place I've ever been to in my entire life. Selena Gomez has nothing in common with any of those people. Her people. You're free to take in as many as you want, sweetheart. If not, adios, muchacho. You know, I got to be honest with you. I want illegal immigrant criminals deported from this country for the same reasons Tom Homan said it. Fentanyl, trafficking, crimes, safety, national security. 100%. But maybe, just maybe, Democrats, if you didn't import a surf class to do all the shit that you don't want to do, like mow your lawn and clean your pool and wash your windows and raise your children, maybe we as a culture would get a little bit better. Maybe all of your celebrity children wouldn't end up jumping up and down on La Cienega trading sex for drugs because they have a detachment disorder because their mother had them raised by some Guatemalan nanny. I don't know, just a thought. Just a thought. Maybe if these celebrities focused more on their kids than on their careers, we wouldn't get episodes like Drew Barrymore, who somehow ended up in AA at the age of 9. Just a thought. I don't know. I'm just a regular person out here. But Drew Barrymore, who comes from 3 generations worth of Hollywood royalty, ends up in AA at the age of 9. Maybe if her father, John, or her grandfather, what the hell is the grandfather's name? The bad guy in It's a Wonderful Life. That's going to bother me. Maybe if he had been around a little bit to raise his kids, maybe she wouldn't have had an alcohol problem before middle school. Lionel, that's his name. Lionel Barrymore. Mr. Potter. Biggest movie villain in history, other than Jenny from Forrest Gump. Maybe, just maybe. Guys, this week, has been out of control. I just did an entire hour-long show about 2 things that happened. We didn't even get into the fact that Donald Trump started a trade war, then started a round of golf, and ended the trade war before he got to the back 9. He hadn't even gotten to the clubhouse for lunch, and he basically looked at the president of Colombia and said, "Yo soy tu papa. I am your daddy. And you will do exactly as I say." Because let's be honest, what the hell is the point of being the last superpower in the world if we don't flex that power where we see fit? We're going to do that tomorrow. That's going to be tomorrow's show. Also, tomorrow we're going to be joined by a phenomenal guest, a really good friend of mine, and a Portland, Oregon survivor. Someone who actually chooses to live there and isn't batshit crazy. We're going to be joined by them tomorrow, guys. Make sure you keep it locked in here for that. On your way out the door, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We rock. We rock. Somebody said Jenny wasn't a villain. Who's that? Hugh? I got news for you. Jenny from Forrest Gump is the worst movie villain in the history of film. I could do that all day. The worst, she's the worst. She's worse than Hannibal Lecter. She's worse than Darth Vader. She's worse than the shark from Jaws. She's the worst. I hate Jenny. If I ever met Robin Wright Penn, I would yell at her. She's the worst. Guys, Jenny was... Chat, I got like 40 seconds left. Let me know if Jenny was good or Jenny was bad. Let me know. I got like 40 seconds left. Will, I'm going to run a little bit over. Now I got to get everybody's opinion here. Chad, let me know. How bad was Jenny? She was bad. Oh, I'm cutting that clip today. Oh, yeah, one of the worst. One of the worst. Guys, Will Johnson's coming up next. His link is in the chat. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hit the thumbs up button. We just hit 300. I'll catch you all tomorrow, guys. Stay loud.